It will be the biggest and likely most expensive infrastructure project in Europe. HS2 has been marred in uncertainty and controversy from the start. But as we've been hearing, today the high-speed rail link got the go-ahead from the Prime Minister. In a moment, we'll hear from some of those who welcome the news. First, though, as our transport correspondent Tom Edwards reports, it's a devastating blow to those who've campaigned against it for years.
So this is the air filter that HS2 installed. Even though I haven't used it much, you can actually see the black grime in there.
Amanda recently had part of her lung removed. She blames this dust. She lives next to an HS2 construction site at Old Oak Common. Another 10 years of work fills her with dread.
The biggest problem that we have is that HS2 just is so unresponsive. And so far there's not been one single penny of compensation. We're basically besieged in our own homes until this finishes because the value of our homes has slumped so much.
HS2 says it does monitor air quality at its site. This is where a station will be at Old Oak Common in northwest London. Further out in the green belt in the Colne Valley, HS2 wants to fell these trees. Campaigners say they won't give up.
We're here to stand for the trees because the people that are sworn to protect us in our government aren't doing that.
It's completely wrecked our lives.
Nearby, the HS2 route will run right through Ron and Anne's living room. Their house will now be demolished.
I'm finding it difficult that someone can just walk into your life and destroy it.
It's awful, absolutely awful.
In central London, Euston has lived in the shadow of HS2 construction for years. Today the government said this part of the project was badly delayed. One option could be stopping trains temporarily at Old Oak Common. 220 homes have already been demolished here in Camden. That's more than anywhere else in the country. And for many people here, they think that the damage has already been done by HS2 to this community. £1.2 billion has already been spent buying up London property by HS2. Locals now fear the process at Euston will take even longer and be more disruptive.
Okay, once it's done, you are next to the station, it's fine, sounds everything good, positive. But to survive 10 years is a big thing. So day by day, you're losing your customers.
On the cranes, HS2 have hung banners saying they're working for the future. But at the moment, for many, it's a future they don't feel part of and they feel ignored. Tom Edwards, BBC London News.
However, there are others who welcome today's news, saying it's key for the capital. Our political editor, Tim Donovan, can tell us more. He's at Euston Station. You've returned then, Tim?
Yeah, I'm safely back. Yeah, I've been up to Birmingham and back today by train. It's certainly true. There are a lot of people who think this has the potential to be transformative economically and in business terms, and we know that Boris Johnson from his mayoral days likes to build things, likes his infrastructure, some say preferably when he's got his first name attached to it, but it also coincides for him with this central political need now to deliver stuff for voters outside London who've placed their trust in him. How quickly do you need to get to Birmingham? It's about an hour and 20 minutes now. It'll be just 45 minutes in the future. Gary's a management consultant who does the trip regularly for work.
It's nicer to have a bit more capacity, a bit of space. If you're stood in the corridor, it's a bit hard to catch up on emails and things like that, but getting there quicker can only be a good thing. I used to live in Birmingham, and so making the journey between Birmingham and London much easier for me is just a positive thing, really.
The government's ummed and ahed, but today finally took the plunge. And for Roger, a civil servant, this is about so much more than track and travel time.
There is a massive division between North and South, and I think anything that will bring us closer together as a country and empower the North. I'm a Southerner, but I do know that the North feels as if it's been left alone. I think this will bring us closer.
Over time, the arguments for HS2 have shifted from speed to capacity, how it affects the whole network, easing overcrowding and allowing new local services on existing lines. But what about the costs? Once estimated at £57 billion, the recent so-called Ogilvy review found that was now at around £88 billion and might realistically end up being more like £106 billion. And the estimated benefits have dropped from £2.50 generated from each pound invested to between £1.30 and £1.50. Eleanor's a project manager who does this journey a couple of times a week. She wouldn't have spent the money on this.
We could really do with sorting out austerity measures, and we've already got a decent rail system on this railway line, and we could spend the money better elsewhere.
But Nicky, who works for a charity, thinks it can't just be about the money.
I think it's the potential for businesses, the potential for society to be more linked up. I think it is worrying that the costs are escalating, but the social benefits of it, I think, are worth it really, and the benefits to young people and to business.
We are here with the station where the first terminus of HS2 will be.
But who or where will benefit most? The mayor here told me everyone's a winner. You don't have a worry that it'll in effect make Birmingham a kind of satellite. They live here, but they work in London. The economic benefits remain in the capital.
No, we're not worried about that. And if you look at how this has worked around the world, you actually get the two thriving together, actually. Sure, that will happen with some people, but we're already seeing, dare I say this on BBC London, we're already seeing young Londoners choose to come and live here for their future economic lives here, not just commuting to London.
At least now everyone knows it is going to happen. Exactly when, though? Well, who would predict that safely?
Tim, I daren't ask, but how politically fraught is this likely to be?
Well, there are quite a few Tory MPs, I mean, at least sort of 50, who've been consistently, or fairly consistently, critical openly in the past. There may be more in the west of England, the east of England, who don't really feel they're getting any benefit from this. But if you can't, as a Prime Minister with an 80-seat majority at the beginning of your tenure, if you like, and with the opposition, Labour, broadly supportive, if you can't do a project, green light it, then when can you? It still remains the case that throughout this process now, building it, he's going to have to allay the concerns of MPs along the route. MPs like him, of course. MPs who are going to be watching every single moment of this now.
It's important to remember all this disruption brings no benefit to people in my constituency. Many years of delays with commuting, disruption to the local economy, the loss of local habitat, the loss of a fantastic facility where school children have been able to learn great outward bound activities, all gone for no local benefit. So we need to make sure, as an absolute minimum, that the affected residents are treated favourably and appropriately whilst the construction is going on.
Today, Boris Johnson said there would be a minister with special responsibility for High Speed 2. There would be a ministerial oversight group. More details needed. Yes. Oh, well, that will do the trick. That isn't going to reassure people in itself, but it may be seen as a beginning.